Hi guys, Valerie, my Stitch and Dollyverse. Today I am trying to alter this suit to fit my new alien doll. I'm having some trouble, but I'll show you a picture of what it started as. It was really big for a Barbie, and so I'm gonna have to take this all apart again, lay it out, and recut it to be a better fit. So let's do this. Let's go. So when I do take this apart, it kind of looks like hammer pants in a way, like harem pants, but it's definitely cut oddly. I'm not sure what doll it's for, actually. It's not necessarily for Barbie because it's really big. But I'm trying to save all of my glittery stuff that I have from my Barbie clothes collection. This is one. It has a stain on it. I got this from my friend, but I'm using these for my alien dolls because they're glittery, they're sci-fi looking, and I'm just altering them to fit. So I have to turn this inside out, and thank goodness this is not the type of fabric that gets all like, that falls all apart like some of those ones that have silver thread and everything in it. I feel like I have one here. I can't find it right now. It's okay. So I'm really loving taking Barbie clothes and adjusting them to fit my Blythe dolls. And I'm trying to adjust the ones that could fit anybody for both the Leica dolls, like these dolls, and then the articulated dolls, which are the AliExpress ones or whatever. So it's a lot of fun to do this. And oh, by the way, I'm Valerie. This is my Stitch and Dollyverse. I sew for dolls, I upcycle for dolls, I make patterns, I make dolls, I make art dolls, I make all sorts of stuff. But this channel is all about talking about dolls. I mainly love Blythe dolls. I'm really focusing on them recently. I've always loved them, but I also like smart dolls. I like art dolls, all sorts of collector dolls, and also like Monster High dolls. I love Draculaura, and this dress is way too big for her. So it was like one of my other projects I was doing. Anyways, I love sewing. So if you like any of that stuff, stick around and subscribe. Let's take this apart and see what we can do to make it fit this girl. So here are my Blythe short patterns, that pattern pieces that I have that I know fit Blythe really well. And I gotta keep in mind that this fabric isn't really stretchy. It is a tiny bit, but not really. So if I'm gonna get the fit right, it has to be a pattern for a pair of pants or shorts that aren't stretchy. And you got to make sure that you cut right on the seam, right on the pattern piece, and don't be afraid to do that. I know that this fabric was wiggly and hard to cut, so I had to hold it and really pin it down and take my time cutting it. It wiggles around, and I'm only doing the waist and the crotch and a little bit of the inseam so I could see where it matches up on the pants. And then I'm going to fold it in half in a little bit and even it out. And so cutting is the most important part in sewing, because if it's not cut correctly, it will never sew correctly. And if you make a mistake with sewing, you can always take it out and do it again, you know. But with cutting, it's, you know, check twice, cut once kind of thing. So, you know, it's easier when you have a piece of fabric because you can always, you know, cut another one and try it again. But when you're upcycling, you really have to make sure it's a pattern piece that you know fits well, and that you're not taking too much off. So here I am matching up the bottom of the pants, making sure that creased side seam line is straight all the way down the pant leg, and pinning it really well and cutting off the excess, because the leg is going to wrap around really weird if you don't cut it correctly. And since this garment also does not have side seams in the legs, you only have the inseam to cut to fit well. And then after I do that, I just line it up with the other pattern piece, the other leg essentially, and cut it out. Taking my time, knowing this fabric is super wiggly. Then I iron it to try to get that crease out. And I did practice on a little scrap piece to make sure it's not going to melt. And then I'm adding some water to it to try to get that crease out, but it really doesn't. It doesn't work. So when you have some creases and stuff, fabric, like this is polyester, so I wet it and yeah, I did a lot, but it still has a few creases and it's okay. It's just how it is. If it was a natural fiber like a linen, a cotton, wool, you know, you can use a spray bottle with a little bit of vinegar and water. Don't go straight vinegar, that's too much. But if you spray it, it will loosen the fibers and the creases will come out. But that's only with natural fabrics. So I'm stuck with some of it on this polyester, but it's okay. We'll make it work. So after taking the garment, it was still all kinds of wonky and not fitting correctly. So instead, I took it completely apart. I used a pattern from another pair of pants. Well, I think they were for shorts, but that's okay. Just to get the front crotch and the back crotch up correctly and the width of everything. There is more room, which is I wanted that because I just did these pleats in the front, which I think look kind of sci-fi. But part of the problem, if you can see that, part of the problem is that it's not tall enough. So I might have to do 2 pieces, but make it look like a jumpsuit. That way it will fit better and she can move around better. I don't know. I'm so obsessed with fit. Even when they sit down or stand a certain way, it looks bad. So I think if I do it in 2 different pieces, that makes it look like a jumpsuit, it'll look better. And I took in the bodice too, and it was all kinds of wonky. And the front bodice, the arms were longer than the back. So that's why it wasn't quite fitting correctly. It doesn't have snaps or anything yet, but this is a much better fit for her. So I'm going to keep trying and fiddling. And that's the best thing to do. If you're fitting it and it's just so much bigger than the doll, it's best just to take the whole thing apart and use a pattern as an example, one that fits, or another garment that fits, and turn it inside out and just lay it down and see the difference. I think we have enough to work with here. And I'm gonna try and finish this up.